Hi everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm Stephanie if you're new here. We are going to be putting together some freezer meals. Last month I shared a bunch of them with you guys. I did 2 separate videos on that. So last month was my first time trying out freezer meals. I have done some freezer prep stuff before, only breakfast stuff for the kids. But I really enjoyed doing the freezer meals. Let me know down in the comments if you guys use freezer meals, if you've tried them before, if you like them, don't like them. I just want to hear everything about that. The packets that I'm going to be using for today's freezer meals are going to be from Crystal Lopez. She has her own website that sells a bunch of freezer meals, and I like to get the packs from her because they are very easy to follow. When you get the pack, you'll have full sheets like this. So it'll let you know what you need to all put in your gallon bags. So I only want to be able to do freezer meals once a month. I don't want to keep doing this because I don't have time to put all of these together. So I want to do one day of freezer meals. That's it. I also have these little handy things that hold up the bags. If you've watched other people do freezer meals, you know that a lot of people will use these. If there's something else that I could be using, please list them down below and I will check them out. But otherwise, I'm probably gonna get more of these because if I'm gonna keep doing this, I'm gonna need more. You saw my crock pot from last month. I had some electrical tape around the front part of my crock pot, holding on to the digital like piece that needs to stay on there. And I was looking up some crock pots and I found one that I like. That is what I'm gonna share with you guys today. So we are going to be making, I can't remember, like 20 some, 30 some freezer meals. We are going to be doubling some of them if I have enough chicken to do that with. The only thing that I cut up already was my onions. Otherwise, I need to cut up everything yet for some of these meals. Everything else is going to be frozen chicken thighs, frozen chicken breasts. That works out great for me. It's just going to be pulling them out of the bags and adding them to these meals. A lot of these meals call for like 5 or 6 chicken breasts and chicken thighs. We are going to be adding, I think, I'll kind of determine that, but like maybe 8 or 10 pieces because there's 10 of us in our family that live here. So I feel that if I just add 10 to each one, that would be great. And then if I double up, I'll just do 2 separate bags unless the recipe is small, then I'll just add it to that one bag for a double meal that day. Otherwise, I will make 2 of the same ones, just put it in a different bag and add that. So that would be 20 pieces of chicken for just that one crock pot meal. So I had to really plan ahead with this last grocery haul on how much chicken I really needed for all of these crock pot meals. So that is what I needed to do. I needed to do a little planning for getting this video out. I have everything ready. These crock pot meals, the way Crystal has them written up, are very easy to follow. And then they also come with this little side thing that you want to put on your bag if you want to label it that way, if you want to have this maybe on the outside of your freezer or whatever else you need to do. This is just kind of like a little follow-up cooking guide to what is in that freezer meal. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pack up whatever is on this piece of paper. And you're going to put this on the envelope so when you get that meal out, you know what meal it is. And then also it'll tell you how long you need to cook it in the crock pot. So what I'm going to do is I had a fridge clean out video that I cleaned out one of our freezers, and we are going to be putting all of my freezer meals in that one freezer, going to label on the front of my freezer what is all in that freezer for them freezer meals. That way I know exactly where they are and they will be easy to grab, and if anyone else wants to make them, they can just go in there and they can find it. So that is what we're going to be doing today for some prep work. We're getting these freezer meals done. I will share our opinion with them in another video. That is what I did last month with my freezer meals, and we really like some of the freezer meals. And I kind of asked my husband, I'm like, do you think we're gonna get sick of freezer meals or Crockpot meals? And he's like, no. So I'm not sure how the kids feel about it, but for us it's mainly gonna be dinners and meals. Probably not lunches, but it'll be something quick and easy for our family. Okay, so I just got a crock pot. If you guys saw my last crock pot meal recipes, in my last video last month, I shared on my thumbnail that I was using my Pioneer Woman crock pot, which that one is fine. That one is a little outdated too, but it is fine for now. I might have to upgrade that one eventually. But the one that I had starting to break down, and I've had that for many years. I ordered that on one of them books, subscribe things from back in the day, and it just was wearing out, and the porcelain part is like breaking. So I went on Walmart and I picked up this one, and I think I spent about $69 for it. I thought it was a little different than what it is. I thought this one was also like a kind of a stoneware kind of thing, but I didn't read very well on the description. So all it is just a regular crock pot, and then it also comes with a little sauce maker or a little sauce holder. So I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna share it with you guys. For the bigger crock pot, I'll share the little one with you in a little bit. So the bigger one is a 7-quart. I can't remember what my bigger one was, but this should be okay for what I need. And sometimes I'm using 2 at a time anyways. A lot of times too with these freezer meals, you can use your Instapot. I love my Instapot. I can get it done in faster time. So instead of cooking something for 6 to 8 hours or 3 to 4 hours, I use my Instapot and I can do it in a half an hour. So I know a lot of you guys are enjoying the Crockpot meals, so that's what we're gonna do. A lot of times I might just use my Instapot some nights when I just need to get it done faster. But since I am sharing with you guys all my recipes today, I did do an introduction to this video. So I'm just kind of going in the middle of my video before I share all the recipes. I wanted to share this with you. I will leave the link to this down below, and you guys can get one if you're interested. I'm not sponsored. I'm just sharing what I got because I needed to update the one that I have. And then if I'm going to be sharing crock pot meals with you, I thought I would make it a little bit more nice looking than having electrical tape all over my crock pot. So this is what this one looks like. My other one has this too. My Pioneer Woman is a little bit different for the lock and carry. Cook and carry it's called. My other one comes up from the side here and then goes up like this, and it locks. This one, it goes down and then it locks like that. I did read with my other crock pot, the Pioneer Woman one, it's only for when you are going places that you need to lock it. You can't, I don't think you can have anything in there, like you can't be cooking with it and have it locked. Seems to have like a little vent hole right there, so I've never seen that before. Didn't go over the owner's manual yet to really share any of that with you. But I will go over that in another video when I share how we enjoy the freezer meals from today. I'll do like a follow-up on that. This one's called the Little Dipper, and it comes with a little manual of its own. And in here, there's some recipes. So there's creamy spinach dip, hearty beef dip, chocolate dessert fondue, and fiesta dip, and hot artichoke dip. So that is for this little dipper thing. And then you could do sauces or cheeses and stuff for maybe like a taco bar or whatever you can use this for. So I'll share the link and everything down below if you guys are interested. One of the cool things about having a pantry is that I can just go out and grab anything that I need from out in our garage, and we have a lot of stuff that we store on hand. With these Crockpot meals, I knew that I needed to plan ahead and have a lot of extra stuff that maybe normally I wouldn't have in our pantry, but we do keep a lot of barbecue sauce on hand anyways. But with these recipes, I know that out in my pantry, I have enough food to cover these freezer meals. All right, for this recipe, all you're gonna need is boneless pork loin. I just did like a quick dry on top. I just dried it off, and then I put a dry rub on top and added that to one of them gallon bags. So with this recipe, I am doubling it. That's why I have two of the boneless pork loins, but you can just make one. I just wanted to be able to have two on hand. And I'm going to be adding a bottle of barbecue sauce and then a can of Dr. Pepper. One of the things that I could have did a little bit easier with this recipe is just added the dry rub and the barbecue, and then later when I put it in the crock pot, I could have added the soda then, just so I wouldn't have had all this liquid in the bag. I think that's what I'm gonna do next time. It just makes more sense not to have to deal with all the extra stuff in that bag. And I ended up double bagging it just so it wouldn't break open. But yeah, I think it would have been easier if I would have just waited to add the soda. All right, for the one that I just did, I did the barbecue Dr. Pepper pork loin. I didn't know if I was gonna cut it up and separate it that way, but I think one is gonna be good for the size of our family. So I did two, so I doubled up on that recipe. Now we are going to be moving on to the pork chops. I'm going to do the easiest ones first, and then we are gonna move on to the harder ones. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be using the pork chop recipes. I'm gonna put one full package in this gallon bag, and then I'm going to be adding another package in the other gallon bag. So we are going to be making apple butter pork chops and smothered pork chops. Last month we made the smothered pork chops, and we also made creamy ranch pork chops, and I don't think I'm going to be making that one this time. So what I added to this recipe is onions, pork chops, apple butter, and the apple butter I got from some friends. So that is what we're going to be using for this recipe. And then you can add your salt and pepper or whatever to taste later. So that is everything for that recipe. I ended up having to double bake some of my freezer meals. So I added the little cooking slip in the second bag. All right, for the smothered pork chops, I am using a beef broth concentrate. I do have beef broth paste that I was using too, so I needed to just add the water later when I put it in my crock pot. So that's just a little bit easier. Otherwise, if you have some of them beef broth bouillon cubes, you could use that too. But I found that at Walmart, and I thought that would work out well for what I'm doing. So I think it was like 4 teaspoons for a cup of water. So I ended up marking that on my piece of paper so that when I put this in the crock pot that I knew that I needed to add the water to it. All right, so on this recipe, we are going to be just adding all of the stuff that needs to be added to the bag, and that is pretty much it for this recipe. I did add salt and pepper, but you can always add more later. right, now we are going to be moving on to the Dr. Pepper barbecue meatballs. I just got this pack from Walmart. I got 2 of the large family size meatballs, and I put one of the bags in 1 gallon bag and another one in another gallon bag. This one you don't even really need to prep if you don't want to, because it's so easy. You just throw everything in your crock pot and you're done. Because of the basics of the ingredients, it's just mainly meatballs and barbecue and Dr. Pepper. That's pretty much it. If you want to add some honey, you can add some honey to it, but I will add the honey later when I add it to the crock pot. So these are really good. This is a good appetizer if you don't want to use it as a meal. But my kids really liked it last month when I made it. I also shared this recipe on my last crockpot meal. I didn't prep these last time, but I did share it on one of the crockpot meal videos. Alright, for this recipe we are going to be using 2 pounds of flank steak, or you can use chuck roast if you want. We are going to be adding onion, brown sugar, minced garlic, soy sauce, and beef broth, and 2 peppers. Alright, for this next recipe, we are going to be making ranch beef stew. So I'm just going to add this full package of beef stew in this bag. So I don't remember how many pounds it is that I got, but the recipe is 2.5 pounds of beef stew. So you can just use what you need for your family. All right, through my video, you guys are gonna see a lot of feet moving around. I have 3 extra kids in today's video. So I have my granddaughters over for the night, and they are all in and out through this back door. So you're gonna see a lot of movement with the kids. But for this recipe, you are going to need your beef stew, baby carrots, some celery, diced tomatoes, and a package of ranch seasoning. If you make your own, you can just add about 1/4 cup maybe of ranch seasoning, and then you need your minced garlic and some beef broth, and add a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be making cranberry orange chicken. We made this last time. I made this a couple times actually, and it is so good. This is probably one of our favorites. So I'm just gonna cut up everything right away just so I can have it on hand. I need to make the chicken fajitas yet too, so I'm gonna need a lot of that for this. I ended up having to cut up more later just because I didn't have enough for some of the other recipes, because I think it was like for the fajitas, I just needed a full one and not just a couple. And if I'm double bagging everything, I'm going to need extra anyways. So I went and just cut up as much as I could for right now. And then I ended up taking our chicken thighs and cutting all of the fat off of them. So that's what I'm gonna do next in the next clip here of this video. But I needed to get all of this done first, and then we are going to be moving on to the chicken thigh recipes. All right, so for some of these recipes, you also are gonna need some cilantro. I didn't need anything else besides regular seasonings for these recipes. So I think the further I go with some of these, I'm going to be adding a lot more seasonings to them. But some of these other ones were pretty basic with that. It was just more of the sauces. So I'm gonna go really quick here and cut off as much fat as I can off of these chicken thighs, and then we can move on to the recipe. Alright, for this recipe, we are going to be making chicken fajitas. I know I said that we were going to be making the cranberry orange, which we will, but we're going to be making this one first. So I'm adding all the chicken thighs from that package in this bag, and that's just what we're going to be using because we're going to eat it anyways. So even if I added too much chicken, that is okay. So on the recipe, it says 6 to 8 boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, 1 yellow onion, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and 1 package of fajita seasoning. Now we're going to move on to the cranberry orange chicken. So I ended up having to double bag everything. So I just made 2 meals out of this, and I just grabbed everything that I could from this bag for chicken thighs. Some of my recipes, I ended up using chicken breasts because I didn't have enough chicken thighs. If you guys saw my large family grocery haul, I ended up getting bone-in chicken thighs, and I didn't want to use that for some of these recipes. So for this cranberry orange, you are going to be needing some, or it says 5 to 6 skinless chicken thighs, a jar of orange marmalade. I don't remember how much marmalade I had, so I split it between both of these bags, and then a bell pepper, yellow onion, soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, and then just add some salt and pepper. All right, for this recipe, we are going to make cilantro lime chicken. I'm going to double this recipe just because of how much chicken you need for it. So you don't really, it doesn't call for a lot, but I'm gonna add extra because we like this one. So all you're gonna need is cilantro, lime, and your chicken, and that is it. Salt and pepper, and that recipe is done. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be making honey garlic lemon chicken. Gonna add all your chicken to your gallon bag, and then we are going to add our lemons. You can add lemon zest if you want to. Some of these recipes called for that, and I didn't do that. I'm going to be adding my garlic there, and I just use a bunch of lemon. I think I use like one whole lemon or maybe even 2 lemons for this recipe. And then you're going to add some honey and some salt and pepper, and then you're going to add some olive oil to it also. All right, for this next recipe, I needed to have some jalapenos. We are going to be making King Ranch chicken soup. So I've never tried this one before, and it sounded really good. A lot of the ingredients is stuff that I would normally use anyways for like salsa and stuff. So we are going to be adding a can of rotel, some onion, chopped cilantro, jalapenos. You're going to be adding some chicken broth later to your Crockpot when you make the meal, and then because you're going to be adding like 5 cups of chicken broth, and that's going to be a lot for that bag, so we're going to add that later. Some chili powder, cumin, paprika, and then later you're also going to be adding some shredded cheese, and then you need some garlic. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be making creamy chicken stew. So we are going to be adding some chicken breast. Now this one asked for 4 large boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I'm just gonna add whatever. These are pretty big pieces, so I don't remember how many I added in there. It looks like 4 or 5. And then you need onion, carrots, and this one asked for 4 large carrots chopped. I just added the baby carrots into there. Some minced garlic, and then you're gonna add potatoes and stuff at another time. If you don't want to cut up potatoes, you can just add regular canned potatoes to the recipe, maybe the last couple minutes of the cook time. And then you're going to add 5 cups of chicken broth that we are going to add the day that we are going to be cooking it. And then we need some fresh parsley, salt and pepper, and then the day of we need a cup of heavy cream. So I will put this pack also down below. All right, for the next recipe, we are going to be making Asian chicken. This is one of our favorites. We love this recipe. So this one is 5 boneless, skinless chicken breasts, a half cup of honey, some soy sauce, the Hoisin sauce, minced garlic, ginger, or ginger paste. And you know what? I don't even think I added that, but you can if you would like. And then some rice wine vinegar, onion powder, crushed red peppers. It says it's optional if you want to add that or not. And then some salt and pepper. All right, so we are going to move on to the next one. This is garlic lemon butter chicken. We are going to be using chicken breast, some onion, minced garlic, and some lemon juice. It also asked for lemon zest, which I didn't do that. 1 stick of butter. I just added whatever, just a scoop of butter. 1 teaspoon of salt, pepper, paprika, Italian seasoning, and crushed red peppers is optional. All right, for this recipe, we are going to be making chicken Parmesan. You're going to need chicken breast, crushed tomatoes, tomato paste, tomato sauce, some Italian seasoning, minced garlic, and then you're going to need Parmesan cheese and mozzarella cheese for the day that you are going to be making it, and you can add some salt and pepper on top. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be making a vegetable beef soup, but instead of beef, we are going to be adding chicken because I didn't have that on hand. So when it asked for 6 cups of beef broth, I'm just gonna add chicken broth that morning, and that is about it. And then for the recipe, I'm going to add, I don't remember how many pieces of chicken I added to the bag, but I'm going to be adding potatoes the day of cooking, and then our broth, and we are going to be mixing in the vegetables, some onion, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper to taste, and that is it for this recipe. All right, for this next recipe, we are going to be making chicken and rice soup. So you're gonna need a can of chicken soup, cream of chicken soup. So I'm just gonna add the whole can to this recipe. I'm gonna add a bunch of chicken to the bag as much as I can, just because I know with this soup, I'm gonna want more chicken in it. And then I'm just gonna add the whole can. I don't think that's what the recipe calls for, but we're actually gonna just dump everything in here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of onion, salt and pepper, and some garlic, and then I think that's pretty much it for this recipe. I'll add all my broth and rice the day of cooking the recipe. This is what it looks like in the freezer with all the freezer meals. So hopefully we are able to just kind of keep track of them. I am going to put a note on the front of the freezer here so I know what is all in here and which ones I doubled up on. This is everything that I want to share with you guys today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed all of them freezer meals. I will list the packet, so it's going to be the fall pack, it's going to be the pack that I did last month, is going to be some of them. So that is the 30 Crockpot meal packet, and then it's going to be the fall packet. I only shared a couple from October. You will get a couple months worth for the fall packet. If you get that, I think it's like $9.99. I will leave that down below. But it is 8 o'clock at night and I've been doing this all day. And I had 2 bags of chicken breast left. I'm going to do these freezer, like these pan meals, but I didn't get to do that either. But let me just share them too with you. So this one is the cream of chicken and rice casserole. I'm still going to do this. I'm just not going to put it in the freezer. I'm just going to do it that day. This one is the cracked chicken pasta. I will list this down below and you guys can give that a try. But I did get a bunch of these so I can cook them. Maybe next time I can get to it, but I wasn't able to get to it right now. But I just want to share the 2 of them with you just so you know which ones I'm going to be doing. And if I get a chance, I'm going to share all of the recipes or some of the recipes, and I'll share that video with you guys next month. So in November, I will come back and I will share how we felt about some of the Crockpot meals, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So that is it for today. I am exhausted and I have stuff to clean up yet. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.